So are you a chump when it comes to women? Do you have bad communication skills like a toddler? That's my question. I read an article recently that talked about how men, of course, are bad communicators and the whole world knows it except for most men. So they'll sit there and they'll talk all this shit about women being whores and being trash and having all these issues, and men will sit there and get very defensive and say, when I do open up, then I get shut down and she uses what I say against her. But we don't talk enough. We don't communicate properly. And then, for example, when we talk about communication, a lot of us will shut down and then we'll get very emotional because most of us are too emotional when it comes to communication because we have a communication style of a toddler that have meltdowns and all. Unfortunately, a lot of us just think that this is very effeminate when it comes to communication skills. We will sit here and hone skills in other categories of what we seem as being masculine, but then when it comes to communication, well, it's just like shut that shit down because that's gay. Either you got it or you don't. And when I say you got it, can you shut that bitch down with a couple of words? It's like, what are we talking about? Shutting who down? And then it's like my favorite, well, when I do talk to her, she like uses what I say, but you don't talk well. That's the problem. In most communication, it's not a need for an argument all the time. And if you find yourself in that, that's a red flag of going to couples therapy. We tried that. Okay, well, it's time to get out of that relationship. Problem is, a lot of us men, we just don't like to talk what's on our mind. We'll sit there and say it's fine, and it's not fine. Even with the boys, when we want to sit there and, one of us wants to open up after a couple of beers, and it's like, okay, well, let's kind of shut this shit down. Because why? Because it's gay? Because it's effeminate? Being able to actually communicate with people is just, that's not being an adult. Most of our misery is because of ourselves. Most of our problems because of us, not because of women, not because, these females out here. It's because of us. And all it takes is for us to start to care about honing that communication skill set, and then your life will open up. Doors will open up. It's going to almost be like you have a cheat code, not just when it comes to romantic relationships, but every other aspect of life, because life involves people, of course. People is what makes life go round. You have to be able to learn how to communicate and have interpersonal relationships. And if you're bad at that, then you're going to just be bad at life and have a miserable life. And, the archetype of masculinity is the lone wolf. And in fact, a lone wolf in nature is an anomaly. It's not something that's supposed to be a permanent state. And if it is, that wolf dies.